Much, Madeleine, and thank you very much, the panelists who spoke before me. I'm very, very grateful to be here, to be the voice of Africa, to the voice of the children of Africa. As an educator, I'm so proud of the fact that G20 is now coming to South Africa, and it's something which you should be proud of. I'm not speaking as an economist. I'm speaking as an educator, a teacher educator, someone who has spent years in classes with teachers and families. Behind these big words of debts restructuring, we hear them at this low level, but there's the issue of inequality. We have real human stories. When we say a country spends more on debts than in education, what does that really mean? It means a rural teacher with 80 students and they cannot afford to have resources. It means a young graduate who has hopes and aspiration, but the national budget is stretched to give them opportunity to thrive. And that is our resource. Those are our roots. Those are our seeds. So instead of planting seeds, we are eating them. It means we are mortgaging the dreams of the next generation by paying debts. It is with this that I'm reacting to the 3 points which my colleagues have also said about them. When you talk about death, it's beyond the numbers, the way Madeleine has said. It's deeply human because it brings the first idea which I want to share. What would fairness look like when you talk about global debt conversation? Fairness begins with treating debt not as a punishment, but partnership. A fair global debt framework should provide our countries with a breathing space, room to thrive, so that our teachers, our students, the future is harnessed in a solid way. So there is need to restructure how we pay debts so that there is a delay payment which is not overburdening us, so that we restore the possibility of thriving. But even when we talk about fairness, there's another layer of conversation that we need to think about how to fund the future, because we should have future in our horizon. This brings me to the next point. Not about the tools of finance, but its purpose. When we hear about green bonds, blended finance, a new funding model, all that is important. But what if we dared to innovate around the people, human capacity? What if we invested in education seriously instead of infrastructure? Because it is these people who graduate and come and build infrastructure. What if the next big African bond was not just about roads, but is for teachers, researchers, and learners? Because no economy can grow faster than the minds that power it. As we think what finance is, we must reconsider why we finance it. Africa has a wisdom tradition that speaks powerful to this moment, and that's Ubuntu. You are because I am. So it teaches us that development is not a race for nations, but it's a web of relationship. So when one part of the world prospers at the expense of another, we lose the essence of humanities. So imagine if global finance operated on the principle of Ubuntu. It means when we are restructuring debts or investing in education, it's not charity, it's relatively common sense. Because when Africa thrives, the world grows stronger economically, culturally, and morally. So as I conclude, it's not about death, it's about destiny. Death is about to define, it's not to define the history of Africa. Our story is about renewal, possibilities, shared growth. Let us build a system where our children inherit not the burden of debt, but the promise of opportunity, where development means people, educated, healthy, creative, at the center of every policy and every plan. That is what true global justice looks like. And that's why I invest in education, to ensure we build this seed of continuous growth. How do we harness this from the fundamental years of the learners? Because if we are honest, you can't talk about death, justice, or even innovation without talking about the people who carry these ideas forward, our young people. So we can fix system, we can fix structures, economics, we can design tools, financial tools. But if we don't invest in education, we are only patching the surface. Education is how we build capacity, creativity, as well as hope. So it's how we make sure Africa and the world keeps moving both in wisdom and dignity. So as we wrap up, I just want to say this: we cannot afford to ignore education. We must build our youth as they can shape the future, not inherit the mistakes of the past. Thank you, everyone who have joined this conversation. I've learned a lot from your contribution, but I still say that let's keep the dialogue going in our work, our policies, and daily cures. Thank you very much.